taking its time. All right. We're in session in cause number 321, 326, case of style, State of Texas versus Justin Allen McMillan. Mr. McMillan, would you please come forward and stand on the X in front of the bench? Your full name is Justin Allen McMillan?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McMillan, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. McMillan, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. McMillan, you may put your hand down. Okay, Mr. McMillan, how are you doing?
What about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. McMillan, you're representing this case by attorney David Glenn Williams. Mr. Williams, how are you doing?
Very well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Williams, do you waive a record in Mr. McMillan's case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McMillan, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about September 14 to 2017, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. McMillan, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. McMillan, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily,
Yes, sir.
and are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McMillan, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments. Show you page 1 of this document. Mr. McMillan, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. McMillan, there's a set of initials JAM on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Are these your initials on this
Yes,
document?
sir.
On the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature above the line that's titled defendant? On the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature on the line that's titled
Yes,
defendant?
sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box, the top box that's checked, states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
We have a discovery certification. Mr. McMillan, I have another document here. This document is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McMillan, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir. I did.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No, sir.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Williams, you advised and counsel Mr. McMillan. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
There is none, Your Honor.
Mr. McMillan, your attorney, Mr. Williams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Most definitely, yes, sir.
Mr. McMillan, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
It's 60 days jail probated over 1 year.
Okay.
A $200 fine,
200, okay,
20 hours community service,
20 hours, okay.
a DWI education course,
Okay.
a drug and alcohol assessment. And Your Honor, you'll notice the language in there, I wrote it at the bottom, is 90-day driver's license suspension to be waived if the defendant completes a DWI education course. within-
Actually, I don't see it in here.
It's not, I think, is that why you asked for it back from Elizabeth?
And I thought I saved it.
Okay, I'll have to read it again.
It's on, man. But, yeah, it's under the,
Yeah, it's not, yeah, it's not in. here.
Yeah, I'll have to-
Okay. Okay,
Yeah, I don't know if you want them in there or not, or it's automatic under, I mean, it's supposed to.
Those seem so.
so what are you,
Procedures.
okay, go ahead on and repeat what you just said, the offer again.
And Your Honor, 60 days jail probated over 1 year, a $200 fine, 20 hours community service, DWI education course, and a drug and alcohol assessment.
Okay. Mr. McMillan, state is offering that you serve 60 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $200 plus court costs of $407, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $607. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and you'll be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you would have to pay each month while you're on probation, is $130. Will you be able to pay the $130 each month? You'll also be required to perform 20 hours of community service, attend and complete a DWI education class, and you'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. McMillan, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Mr. McMillan, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. McMillan, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Williams, once you finish signing the paperwork, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.
Mr. in session in two cases. First case is first case is cause number 328-370, and second case is cause number 330-890. Both cases are style the state of Texas versus Belen Zuniga Ferrera. Ms. Ferrera, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Ferrera, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You may put your hand down. How you doing, Ms. Ferrera? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Ferrera, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Wright Kimler. Mr. Kimler, how are you doing?
Well, Your Honor.
Mr. Kimler, do you waive a record in Ms. Ferrera's case?
We do.
Ms. Ferrera, in cause number 328-370, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about October 16 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Ms. Ferrera, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Okay, Ms. Ferrera, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit number. You just have Class B. You got to put it under that second box right here where it says misdemeanor DWI Class B.
But it's not a second.
It's not a second. The first box, you see, it's right under B.
That's what I did. My eyes must not have been lining up. I'm not kidding, my eyes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, Ms. Ferrera, you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, your attorney just checks off the box that states that this is a Class B misdemeanor. Range of punishment confinement in jail for at least 72 hours, but not to exceed 180 days. Fine not to exceed $2,000 or both such fine and confinement. And it also says a conviction resulting in community supervision will require a drug and alcohol evaluation, rehabilitation, payment of cost of rehabilitation, completion of the alcohol education program. And they said initial interlock on his or her vehicle, but I don't.
She's gonna have to have the airlock on the next page because it's.
Okay. Now, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of the same document, are these your initials above the line that's titled, but on the line that's next to the box that's titled guilty?
Yes, sir.
The next page is a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Ferrera, I have before me another document which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And there are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain agreement and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? Second box check states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, I have another document here. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? It's Ferrera. Prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections? Ms. Ferrera, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kimler, you've advised and counseled Ms. Ferrera. Is there any evidence that she's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ferrara, your attorney, Mr. Kimmler, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ferrara, I will accept your plea guilty. I will find that you're mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
What is that agreement?
In case number 328370, the offer is concurrent with the offer in 330890. But specific to this case, it is 90 days probated over 1 year, a $750 fine, 80 hours community service, attend DWI education classes, and drug and alcohol assessment.
Okay. And let's see, drug and alcohol assessment. Ms. Ferrara. The state in cause number 328370 is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs, which comes to a total of $1,172. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee for $15 each month, and you'll be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you would have to pay each month while you're on probation, is $185. Will you be able to pay the $185 each month? You'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend a DWI education class and have a drug and alcohol assessment. Like you said, it's a lot.
That'd be on the next.
It's on this one.
I put it on the next one. I guess you added it to this.
No, let me see what's on
I
the
didn't-
paperwork.
Didn't mean to, but it's
Okay,
should be interlocked for the,
for the
they're
advance.
concurrent, right?
No, it's not, it shouldn't be on here because it wasn't on the paperwork, yeah. On this one, it was, interlock wasn't on the paperwork, on the plea form.
Okay.
No. No, it was on,
So.
so no, she just has to make the correction.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's oh, that should be 70, the last one. 370.
So it doesn't have it and it needs it, or?
No, it has it and it doesn't need it.
Okay.
The interlock needs to be ordered
Yeah,
on 330890. There is
Right.
no interlock on
Yeah.
328370.
okay. I'm gonna
Needs to
have,
be put on 70.
no, you need to take it off of 70. It's already
It's
on there.
not on 328370.
I don't know what the other, no, the other one has it on there.
No, it needs to be on 330890.
Right, she has it on, she had it on both of them. It shouldn't be on both of them, it only should be on one.
Right.
The
The
one
one
is,
that's enhanced.
the one it should be on is
But it's
90.
on- no, it's on that one though.
Right.
Yeah, you got it on both, but you need to,
70 needs to be taken off is what I
Right,
need to do.
right,
Right.
Okay.
okay. I'm gonna need another tablet too, because this one is gone out. So, Ms. Ferrera, the state, let me do this here again. Ms. Ferrera, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you do not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs, which comes to a total of $1,172. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month. I need to get out of this one. And you will be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to pay a Jefferson County DWI education class of initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the police. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $60. Now, the total amount that you would have to pay each month for this case is $185 a month. And Ms. Ferrera, would you be able to pay the $185 per month? And you'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service, attend a DWI education class, and have a drug and alcohol assessment. And this case will run concurrent with cause number 330890. You will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Do you understand that? All right. Now, do you understand the state's offer? Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Ferrera, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. I'll just turn that one off. Okay, thanks.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now, Ms. Ferrera, we're gonna proceed to your next case. And your next case is clause number 330890. And the information in this case, Ms. Ferrera, okay, the information in this case, Ms. Ferrera, alleges that on or about August 25th of 2021, while you're in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Ms. Ferrera, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge, Ms. Ferrera, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest? Now you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Okay, Ms. Ferrera, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Ms. Ferrera, there's a set of initials, BF, on a line next to the box that says check guilty. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, it's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant? There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box check states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box says check states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that? And Ms. Ferrera, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Ms. Ferrera, do you understand, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ferrera, prior to signing initially these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? State, I have before me, state's exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer states 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection.
No objection. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Kimler, you advising counsel, Ms. Ferrara, is there any evidence that she's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ferrara, your attorney, Mr. Kimler has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
That's the one that was. And Ms. Ferrara, I'll accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, it is 180 days in Jefferson County Jail, probated over 1 year, no fine in this particular case, 80 hours community service, DWI classes, and interlock to run concurrent with the probation in 328-370.
Okay, Ms. Ferrara, the state is offering that you serve, is it 180 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you will not be required to pay a fine. However, you will be required to pay a court cost of $422. You will also be required to pay no, you will not be required to pay a probation fee. However, you will be required to pay a United fee, $15 each month. And you will be required to pay the Jefferson County DW education class and issue evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the police.
She
Should have-
actually probably should just pay one time. for
If,
that.
yeah, they probably have, the probation officer will probably pay it one time. Now, should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'd have to pay each month. In this case, it's $55 a month.
Actually,
Will you be able to pay the $55 a month? All right, now, Ms. Ferrara, you'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You will be required to attend a DWI education class. You'll also be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you will be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. In this case, will run concurrent with cause number 328370. And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Ms. Ferrara, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Ms. Ferrara, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have made with the state. Ms. Ferrara, stand on the X next to the attorney. Once you stand on the X, you're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. All right. Johnson. Oh,
Put your right thumb on the scale.
you're gonna have to sign too, Mr. Kimball.
Yes.
I got it.
The last.
Yes, Your Honor, this will be the last one. This is Indy, or Ms.
Yeah.
Johnson.
You want to come up?
She's
Well, we on the,
Your
I'm just gonna wait till
signature
her-
card on it?
she's on,
till she finish and then you sign, then we'll get her.
she's currently on 10 years deferred probation out of the only court. So
Okay.
this will run concurrent with that.
We want, she's knocked it out. It's time soon.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. We did time served on this one. That's right. Never mind. We originally had thought about doing this. This was the time. certain.
He needs to sign.
It's like 11 days or something.
If you sign for me. I've got separate names, the names are spelled different. I'll need you to sign again. Oh, my. Sign for me one more time.
What was it, 11 days?
Oh, okay. A middle name is spelled different. Huh. There's a nigga on one and Zaniga,
Yeah.
Zaninga,
Sign for me again.
Zaninga on the other. Two is spelled, yeah.
We need to go to.
Zaninga.
Now, go to warrants now.
All right, and then you have to sign for the other one. I have to do them separately.
What's your phone? 463.
One more time for you, Rick.
It's 3.
Yeah, the first time it put them on top of each other. for some reason.
Zende Johnson.
You swear you've never been given deferred or straight probation in this state or any other state before?
Chop, chop.
And no other criminal pending charges against you? There's a copy of the map to probation. You just need to report.
This is cause number 326-490. Case is style of state of Texas versus Zende Johnson.
Oh, that was in the hearing.
With the,
Okay, this is cause number 326-490. Case of style, state of Texas versus Zende Johnson. Ms. Johnson, is that your full name?
yes,
How you doing, Ms. Johnson?
I'm doing okay.
That's good, Ms. Johnson. Would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Johnson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Johnson, you may put your hand down. Ms. Johnson, you here represented by your attorney, Mr. Wright Kimler. Mr. Kimler, do you waive a record in Ms. Johnson's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about April 11th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Ms. Johnson, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes,
And to this charge, Ms. Johnson, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
guilty.
Now you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
I'm sorry.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes,
Ms. Johnson, I also have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
yes,
On page 2 of this same document, Ms. Johnson, there's a set of initials on a line, initials are AJ on a line next to a box that's check guilty. You place your initials on this document.
yes,
And on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature? And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes,
Is that your signature on the, above the line that's titled Defendant?
yes,
And there are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
yes,
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
yes,
And I also have before me a document that is titled the Discovery Certification on paper. Now, Ms. Johnson, do you recognize this document?
yes,
Is this your signature above the line that is titled Defendant?
yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Johnson, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Kimler, go over these documents with you?
Yes,
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes,
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kimler, you have any
No
objections?
objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Kimler, you have advised and counsel Ms. Johnson. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, your attorney, Mr. Kimler, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes,
Ms. Johnson, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that you plead guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
11 days, time served.
And you're gonna tax and retire the court costs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, the state is offering that you serve 11 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 11 days. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $347. But you will not have to pay the $347 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Ms. Johnson, do you understand the state's offer?
yes,
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
yes,
Ms. Johnson, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Johnson, please stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our court coordinator, court clerk. Once you finish following the directions of the clerk, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Just as number 2 case. Okay. Let's do this here. Let's do this. Bond substitute. This person is in jail.
Yeah, you have to be under arrest. If you're just- If you're just detained and you refuse to give your name, that's not. It's not a criminal. No, I'm working for failure to ID stuff. That's irritating. It's not a failure to ID. If you're just detained, you're under arrest. You're just detained. You don't have to identify yourself. But I thought that was a D, not a C. I guess they did reduce it. Yeah, it's a severe C, so they dropped it. It used to be a D. Or an outright refusal if you're under arrest. You're sure that's not, they're not saying they're not detained, right? What does it read to me? Yeah. They got to arrest them. Yeah, not just the same. Detained, you say, I'm not telling you who I am. That's not.
Have you?
Okay, so we have one, bond forfeiture. Let's,
Yeah, that's really the best way.
let's call the name of, Courtney Harris Cunningham. That's the one we'll call it. Okay, we're in session in cause number 323-968. Case of South State of Texas versus Courtney Harris Cunningham. Courtney Harris Cunningham was scheduled to be in court this morning for the court's pretrial conference document scheduled at 9 a.m. At about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called her name at the courthouse door. She did not answer. She has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. Also, her attorney, Mr. Charles Rojas, did appear in court and informed the court that Ms. Cunningham, his understanding may be in the hospital. However, we're going to have until the end of the day to provide proof that she's in the hospital. And she has not appeared in court since the court had been in session. Reasonable time has passed to give her an opportunity to appear in court. State, do you have a motion?
They request a KPS and a bond forfeiture.
Okay, that motion will be granted. And we'll hold off on the executing the bond forfeiture and the warrant until the end of the day to give her attorney, Mr. Rojas, an opportunity to get the proper documentation of verifying that she is in the hospital. Which one? Which one? Where is, what page?
It's on the trial document, third page.
We're in session in cause number 327344, case of style of state of Texas versus Travis Ray Ozine. Travis Ray Ozine was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's trial docket. At about 9 a.m., the court's be able to call his name at the courthouse door. He did not answer. Mr. Ozine has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. The time now is 3:07 p.m. Mr. Ozine, would you please call, excuse me, Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Travis Ozine? Okay. Travis Ozine's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. He did not answer. A reasonable time is passed to give Mr. Ozine an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
They move for a bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. Warrant shall be issued for the rest of Travis Ozine. His bond shall be forfeited in cause number 327344.
Question on one more.
Okay,
John Culver.
I did.
that was dismissed, wasn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
I didn't get,
Did I sign it?
okay.
Oh, he was, okay, hold on a minute. That's the one on,
My docket is complete.
let's see.
That's the one what?
It was on Dowden's was
Oh,
the
I thought you
attorney.
said that's the one that died. I'm like,
Oh, no.
okay.
Do we know what happened on Lowe, Dylan Lowe? He was
Reset.
resets.
One Smith is in call.
Okay, Culver, I'm signing the dismissal right now. And this will conclude the calling of the court's pretrial conference docket, the announcement docket, and the trial docket. All three dockets were scheduled at 9 a.m. this morning on today's date. of November 29, 2021, in County Court at Law Number 2, Jefferson County, Texas, Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone have a blessed day.